Hi, my name is Shelomo Solson, founder of Purpose Creates Impact, host of the Teenage Impact podcast, where you will find inspiration to get over your struggles as a teenage kid. I was bullied, had anxiety, depression, had friends pass away, and battled confidence issues for a majority of my life. Whether you have the same issues as me, feel lonely, face challenges in your home or in school, I'm going to be interviewing people who overcame these struggles and provide you with tips on how you can overcome yours. By the end of this episode, I want you to rate and comment on what you think of the podcast. This will allow the podcast to be ranked higher and serve more teenagers. Hey everyone, this is the host of the Teenage Impact podcast. This is your host, Shelomo Solson, and today I have Tania Speaks. How are you, Tania?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Tania is a very special teenager. She's not your ordinary teenager. She's ambitious. She's hungry. She's willing to inspire, and one of the most influential teens in the country. And some things about her past was she went through a lot of struggle as a teenager. She was self-conscious about her bushy eyebrows. She got made fun of a lot, bullied a lot. And what she did was she shaved her eyebrow completely off. And she was still self-conscious about that. But eventually that's how the company that she manages right now, Brow Boost, came along. She found organic solutions to the problem. And now she's becoming one of the most influential teens out there. She's been featured in Forbes, Time Magazine's 25 most influential teens. And she's was featured in Black Enterprise, Atlantic Business Journal, some of the other publishing companies that I haven't listed. And she also had a near-death experience. She almost drowned. And I'm sure Tania would do a better job explaining. So Tania, how about you explain a little bit about your background, your story, and how you came about?
So in elementary school, a lot of my peers had thinner brows, and I always had bushy brows that were almost connecting. And I always looked at myself in the mirror and thought that I looked different from my peers, but I never thought anything of it. I didn't think it was a big problem that I had until people started to say stuff about it. And it was worse because I was already thinking that my eyebrows were bushier than my peers. But when they said it, it made me even more self-conscious about it, because now I'm not thinking, oh, I have bushy brows. I'm thinking, this is bad. I have bushy brows. And it really beat me down. I was tortured by my peers. Some people that I thought were my friends started to bully me for my eyebrows. I was pushed off the swings, shoved into lockers, you name it. They did it to me, and it was very traumatic. And the only person that I told was my mom at the time. And only because I saw her like in the mirror doing stuff with her brows, and I figured she could help me. She could take me to a salon or something. And when I came to her, she was like, Tania, no, you're not getting your brows done. You're way too young. And she was right. I was in elementary school. I didn't need to be going to the salon trying to beautify myself. But I didn't want to hear that at the time, because I just kept thinking, I just want the bullying to stop. And I thought that was the only way that would stop the bullying. But I was wrong. So I decided to take it upon myself and shave off my eyebrow with the little razor that I saw my mom using. And I was in the basement underneath the table thinking I knew what I was doing, but it ended up really bad. I was bleeding. I had to go to the hospital. And my mom was furious. She was like, I told you not to touch them. Just leave them alone. Your eyebrows are beautiful. One day someone's going to love your eyebrows. But as a kid, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that I'm beautiful. I mean, you're my mom. You're going to say that. And after that, I went back to school a couple of days later after, my eyebrow healed up a little bit, and they still continued to bully me. Because now my eyebrows are lopsided. They don't look the same. So it didn't really fix the issue. And at that moment, I kind of realized that even me taking matters into my own hands, I still got bullied. So I was like, I have to do something to grow my brows back. Like, I just want my brows back now, because they're going to bully me anyway. And I went to the store with my mom. She helped me, navigate different beauty brands and what could work for my brows. And unfortunately, nothing worked because I have really sensitive skin. So all of the products were breaking my skin out, giving me rashes, which defeated the purpose of trying to fix my brows. It harmed my skin. And my mom told me that, organic ingredients are probably going to work better for your skin. So I took it upon myself to research on Google and try to find some ingredients. And I just asked my mom to buy them, and I was just mixing them up in my living room. And after that, I started to use my concoction on myself. And in my town,
This
my
is all in
hometown,
elementary school still?
yeah, so now we're working our way back up to middle school.
Uh-huh.
And everybody kind of follows each other to the next grade. So even after I graduated from elementary school, all of those people followed me to middle school, and same thing for high school. So it didn't really stop in middle school. It just kind of subsided a little bit. And once I started using the concoction on my brows did start to grow back. And I didn't actually think it was going to grow my brows back. I just was trying anything at that point. I was desperate. And by the time I got to high school, they started to notice a real big change in my brows. They weren't as wild, and my hairs were laid down from what I was using. And they would always ask me, "What are you using on your brows? I remember what your brows looked like in elementary school. Like, they're better now." And I would just tell them that, I have my own formula, and they wanted to try it as well. So I brought it to school and gave it away for free until I realized that I could put a price on it. So I would sell it one for $3, two for $5 in my high school bathroom. So the line would kind of wrap around, and they would
Wow.
stand and wait for me to put the product on their brows, and then they would give me the money. I would give them the product, and I would be on to the next customer. And I was just doing it for fun. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't believe people loved my product. But then my mom, she had a bachelor's degree in business, and she was like, "You're making a profit already. You can have a business. All we have to do is just register it." And I was like, I don't think that real customers are going to buy. I don't think that if I come out of my high school bathroom, people are going to buy. And I was really, really scared. But I did my first
Yeah,
event.
it cut off in the last 10 seconds.
The last thing I said was my mom told me that I could turn it into an
Yeah,
actual
business.
business. And I was scared, and I didn't think that people were going to buy it outside of my high school bathroom. So I did my first event, and I sold out of all my product. And that's kind of when the journey began of me having my own business and getting the product out there to more people.
That's pretty amazing. Let's rewind back to elementary school when you're getting made fun of for your eyebrows. What kind of things did people say?
They would say that I had a unibrow, that my eyebrows were touching, they were extremely bushy. They would call me ugly. I mean, they would literally say anything.
Uh-huh. Wow. I can't believe that in elementary school. I know bullying usually starts in a little bit towards the end of elementary school and the beginning of middle school. And you got shoved into lockers too?
Yeah.
Wow. For that reason or just because people were mean?
I'm not sure why. I'm really not
Uh-huh.
sure why, but I did hear people talking about my brows. So I kind of just put two and two together.
Okay. And when you shaved off your eyebrows, um, did was it uneven all the way until high school where it started working?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And did the bullying continue in middle school as well?
It continued, but my eyebrows started to look a little bit better at that point. So
Uh-huh.
it wasn't as bad, but I still had the few that bullied me in elementary school that still bullied me in middle school.
And was there like a change in your confidence in middle school? Did it phase you as much?
Um, I
Or
think it still affected me in middle school. I don't think it was until I started to sell the product that my confidence really changed.
uh-huh. Did you seek any help with your mom when you were getting bullied in middle school still?
Yeah, I still talk to her about it. She just kept trying to drill the same things into my head that the brows are beautiful. And in middle school, I started to listen to her a little bit more because I was getting older, and I realized that I could trust my mom.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I don't think all of the things that she said, I didn't think I applied them until I got to high school.
Okay, gotcha. So you go into high school and you find out that, hey, this product really works and my eyebrows are coming really nice. And you weren't expecting to have a business out of it. You're selling it in the bathroom. Did you get in trouble?
I didn't get in trouble. Nobody found out. Well,
Nobody
now
found
they know.
until you said your story.
Yeah, until I came out and talked about it, they didn't find out.
Did your teachers ever approach you about it?
Actually, some of my teachers bought my product a little bit towards the end of the school year.
Uh-huh.
Um, I didn't get in trouble with them. I'm not sure if they told like the principal or anything, but they would have me bring the product to their classroom. But I don't know if they knew I was selling it in the bathroom. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's amazing. So when did you actually register your business? At 16, 17,
15.
15? So you started registering at 15.
Yeah.
And so you go to school and then after school you'll work on your business?
Yes.
And what time did you sleep?
I think my sleep schedule was better then. I would go to school and I would normally do events that were in the evening. So as soon as school was over, I would pretty much pack up all of my business stuff and go straight to the event. And the event would end around like 10 o'clock p.m. And then I would probably be in bed around midnight and, wake up for school the next morning. So I would get a good like 5 hours of sleep.
Uh-huh. And who started buying your products when you registered officially?
You said who?
Yeah.
My very first customer was at an event that was for teens, actually, so it kind of fit perfectly for my business. And it was basically just giving teen entrepreneurs exposure. And yeah, so there was already an audience at the event, so I just had to sell to those people.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any partners?
No,
By yourself,
just
hustling.
by myself, just out there.
And now let's go back. I know you had a near-death experience when you were younger. You were on vacation, and I guess the waves were pretty bad. You were jet skiing. Tell us a little bit about that.
So when I was younger, this was probably the end of elementary school, beginning of middle school. I went on a cruise with my family, and we went to the Bahamas, and we went on a jet ski. And I rode the jet ski with my dad. It was really, really fun. I was enjoying myself. And then, the water was splashing in my face, so I couldn't really see what we were doing, and I wasn't the driver, so it didn't matter until next thing you know, I was just in the ocean. And I didn't know what happened, but I just panicked because I don't know how to swim, which was problem number one. So I was kind of just trying to flail my arms around, trying to get out of the ocean. And I was just screaming everybody's name to try to help me. And I actually don't remember screaming. My dad just told me that he could just keep hearing me screaming people's names, and I don't remember that. But it was just so traumatic, and I actually gave up while I was in the water because I knew that I couldn't swim and no one was around to help me. So I kind of just figured I was just going to die that day, and that was going to be it for me. And someone actually told me to grab their hand, and I just reached my hand out, and next thing you know, I was on the sand. And no one was there when I opened up my eyes, and I still don't know who saved me, but someone saved me. And my dad ended up swimming to where I was because he knew how to swim. It was just hard for him to swim to me, save me, and swim to shore. So once he knew I was okay, he was able to get back.
Talk about the blessing from the sky, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely a blessing. I wouldn't have a business. I wouldn't be in college. Nothing, none of this would be happening if whoever that person was didn't save me. So
Good, good. And then this was in middle school or elementary school?
probably the end of elementary
End
school.
of elementary school. And did you ever go in the water after that? Or was
Not for a while. Not, I didn't even want to get into the pool because I was just like, I don't want to go near water at all. And it wasn't until a little bit recently, before this summer, I would just put my feet in the water. But this summer, I decided to actually try to learn how to swim. So it took me a while to get back into the water and face my fear of being in the water and not drowning.
And let's go back to you being bullied in middle school. How did the lack of confidence affect other areas in your life?
It pretty much affected all areas of my life, but I will focus specifically on my academics. So I've always been a high flyer. I've always loved school and loved to do schoolwork and get straight A's. But once I got bullied, my confidence went all the way down. So I wasn't confident pretty much in anything. So my grades dropped a little bit. I never wanted to go to school. I would fake sick. I would beg my mom to please don't let me go to school. Like, can I please just stay home? And sometimes when I faked sick, she knew I was faking because she knew I really didn't want to go to school. So my confidence in, my brows also affected my lack of confidence in my schoolwork as well.
Did you ever approach your bullies?
No, I never fought back or said anything back to them because sometimes it would be people that I thought were my friends. So I didn't really want to fight the people that I thought were my friends. So they would just kind of say stuff, and it kind of started off as jokes at first. And, kids in elementary school, they joke around all the time, but it was really affecting me. And I would tell them, can you stop talking about my brows? But that would never work. So the jokes continued, and then the jokes got worse, and then it became physical. So, it doesn't take much for a joke to turn into something that can really hurt your feelings. So, yeah.
So you stayed away from kids in general around that time.
Yeah.
And then your confidence started growing at 14, 15 when you started the business.
Yeah.
And how did that affect other areas of your life?
When I started my business and I had better confidence, I started to focus even more on school because now I decided to graduate early. And I was like, I really want to get out of school, even though I wasn't getting bullied anymore at that time. I was, happy with selling my product, but now I realized that I could really have a business. I was confident and being able to sell products. And I really just wanted to branch out into other things. So I decided to graduate early, which meant that I had to take college courses while I was taking high school courses. So you really have to have confidence to be able to do that at the same time, because sometimes the college courses may be more difficult than your high school classes, but you still have to juggle both. So, me gaining confidence allowed me to graduate early and do other things that I probably wouldn't have done if I still had low self-esteem.
Now, what college are you going to now?
Hofstra University.
Nice. And is that, you said it's in Rhode Island? I mean,
Long.
Long Island, I'm sorry. Were you born there in New York?
No, I'm from Baltimore.
Baltimore. I was actually, I lived there for a couple months.
Wow, did you like it?
It's okay. I was doing like door-to-door sales. This was after I graduated college.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there's not much to look forward to there, but
Downtown is pretty nice.
yeah, it's pretty nice. When you don't live there, it's nice.
And what are you studying?
Entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. Wow, they have a major there.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your plan with your business after you graduate?
Well, right now we're working on getting my products into retail. I love speaking to kids about overcoming bullying and, starting a business. Actually here at Hofstra, they have a program for middle school and high school students who want to start a business. And, I constantly do webinars and talk to them about how to start a business. So after I graduate, I pretty much want to continue inspiring people who are going through bullying and having my products in retail and, just expanding my business with different products.
And what products are you selling currently?
So currently I have the Brow Boost Organic Brow Gel that is made from the aloe vera plant and vitamin E. It tames thick brows and grows thin brows. We also have Beard Boost, which is for the men. This stimulates hair growth in their beard, fills in those patches that may be empty. It's a moisturizer for dry skin, and it helps with itchiness. And then we also have eyebrow pencils for those women who want to use the brow boost to grow their brows, but they don't feel confident enough to walk outside with their brows really thin, so they fill their brows in. And yeah, those are all of our products.
Mm-hmm. And let's go back to your younger self. You're an adult now. You're 18, 19 years old. Let's go back to your younger self. What would you tell your younger self who's getting bullied?
I would tell my younger self to not think that it's going to last forever, because I really thought that I was going to be bullied my whole entire life. I couldn't see past me being 10, 11, 12 years old. I thought I was going to be an adult still getting bullied. And I think if I would have known that it would have stopped, it's going to stop at some point. And if I known that I was going to start a business and graduate early and start college, if I knew that, I probably wouldn't have been as discouraged from getting bullied. So I definitely would tell myself that it's going to get better. You're not going to be bullied forever. I think that would be the thing that would help me the most.
Mm-hmm. And what do you tell kids nowadays who get bullied? Do you tell them to approach their bullies?
I don't tell them to approach the bullies. I tell them to find an outlet. Literally anything. My outlet was selling products. Even though the bullying had subsided once I got to high school, it still impacted me. It was still a traumatic event in my life. So me being able to sell my products, and even now being able to run my business, it helps me to kind of forget about the bullying and not let it cripple me. But if that's the only thing you have going on in your life, you're just constantly thinking about being bullied, that's not really going to help you. So I try to tell kids who are getting bullied to, find an outlet, whether it's cooking or baking or painting, whatever it is. Try to do that, and definitely tell someone that you're getting bullied. Even if you don't want to hear what they have to say, one day it's going to come back around and you're going to appreciate the advice, just like I appreciate the advice now that my mom told me. You will appreciate the advice from whoever it is that you told as well.
Absolutely. And just to build off of that, I was bullied for English wasn't my first language. So I was bullied for the way I spoke. And every time I would give a presentation, people would laugh at me the first 10, 15 seconds of me speaking. And, here I am 10 years later. And I actually coach other people in public speaking. The same people who used to pick on me for public speaking, they come to me for tips on how to give presentations, which is ironic because you have a similar story, but in a different aspect. For kids who are getting bullied, you can turn your weakness into your biggest strength. Just give yourself some time, have patience, and watch. Those bullies will come around one day and ask you for help.
Yeah. And most of the people that were bullying me or had something to say, they're now my customers. So for a brow product. So, it does come around full circle. So they may be talking about you now, but sometimes people talk about you because they admire you. They admired that I had bushy brows and they were born with thin ones, or they admired that you had an accent and they don't. But, they don't know how to express that when they're younger. So they kind of just make you feel bad. And then later on, they'll love it and want to be your customer or want to ask you for help. So definitely don't get discouraged by it.
Yeah. Tania, do you have any last tips?
No, I think we covered it all.
And where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's at Tania.Speaks, Tania.Speaks. You can find me on Facebook at Brow Boost. YouTube is Tania Speaks as well. And my website is taniaspeaks.com.
Awesome. And for my listeners who are tuning in for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. I'm trying to inspire as many teens as possible to overcome their struggles in life. Thank you.